All right, shalom, shalom to the nation of Israel, shalom, all right? This is your brother Kazakia out of Great Millstone, New Orleans, coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem El Shah, right? But prior to getting started, we want to give all infinite honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, all right? And the title of today's lesson is going to be The Lord is the Master Chess Player, okay? The Lord is the Master Chess Player, okay? That's the title of today's lesson, okay? And right now we're seeing prophecy, you know, basically unravel, right? Unfold, you know, before our eyes, right? We see, you know, the nations, what are they doing? You know, they're fighting each other, right? The different citizens, other different nations, they're also coming up against each other, okay? They're coming up against different, you know, basically kingdoms, governments, right? Different bodies and sectors are all fighting against each other, okay? You know, and those are the same things that's scheduled, right? You know, pretty much to happen here in Babylon the Great. You know, we see what basically, you see the far right, okay? We see the far left going against each other. We see different policies being implemented, which will basically take away the freedoms of the people, so to speak, okay? And we're seeing these policies, you know, affect people, man. Okay, you know, it's basically causing, you know, the tariffs are basically causing famine, are going to cause famine, right? The prices of everything is going to go up. Everything is going to skyrocket, and all hell is going to break loose from the people, man. So, but the Lord, He is the one that's orchestrating all of this. Okay, He's the master chess player, man. Nothing is being done without His sanction or approval, man. Okay. And well, I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off with this first precept here. All right. Let's see. All right, this is Isaiah 55 and verse 8. It says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord." So the Lord is basically giving you, He basically give you bits and pieces and clues to understand His perspective on things, you know, how He moves and how He operates, okay? But we're operating at a limited capacity, okay? You're not able to fully operate, you know, in a way that a God is supposed to operate, okay? You've only been given a selected amount of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right? Okay, and the Lord has His understanding is basically infinite, right? His wisdom is infinite, okay? So that's what it means. Hey, look, He said, "My thoughts are not your thoughts, neither your ways are my ways," right? Because some things the Lord has set in place that we can't even begin to fathom, okay? That's the way the Lord had everything set up, all right? And I'm gonna read verse 9. It says, "For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts," right? And you know, that's that's a pretty heavy scripture, man. You know what I'm saying? Because He said, what, man? So are the heavens, you know, higher than the earth. The earth, you know, in comparison to what? You know, you basically, you know, space, right? The you know, even the place where the third heavens, right, which we know will basically be, you know, infinite. You know, space itself has a multitude of planets. You know, Esau says there's different galaxies, you know, similar to what he called the so-called Milky Way, right? You know, it's vast. Is what I'm saying. It's if there was a number to be put to it, you couldn't put a number to it. It's innumerable, okay? But He's saying that's how man's thoughts are in comparison to His thoughts. You know, it's so small, you know, in comparison, okay? But the Lord is just showing you, He's equating the difference between being a man, given certain portions of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and being a, you know, basically a God, so to speak, you know, and then you know, then the Lord is the Lord. So he's over even all the other, the host of heaven, so to speak. Okay. So, that's heavy, man. All right. Let's go and get another precept real quick. All right. All right. And this is going to go back into what I was just saying. This is Isaiah 46 and verse 9. It says, remember the former things of old, for I am God, I am Yahweh Bashim Shai, and there is none else. For I am Yahweh Bashim Shai, and there is none like me. Right. There's no power in the earth that's like the Lord, man. Okay. We already know, the scriptures tell us that the gods of the nations are nothing but idols. Okay. That's pretty much, all they are, but the Lord created what? He created the heavens. He created the earth. Okay. He created the people, right? The beast, the plants. Okay. Everything, man, including the elements, space, time, matter within itself. The Lord has created all these things, man, which shows you that he's what? He's a master chess player, man. While you're trying to make moves going left, he's making moves going right and forcing you to go right, even though you're trying to go left, man. Okay. So, whatever your lot is, whatever is the point intended for the Lord's will to be done, it's still going to be done. Okay. It says, verse 10, it says, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure. Right. And that's true, man. Those are, that's a truthful statement, man. The counsel of the Lord will stand, man. The things that Yahweh Bashim Shai has said, okay, the prophecies, written within the books, within the book, is going to come to pass, man. It's going to happen. Everything that he said is true, right? The scriptures tell you that the word of the Lord is basically, it's pure, man. Which basically goes back into what, man? Being true, man. Okay. Now, because the Lord has it to where, he not only is he playing chess, but he actually knows the moves, right, that people are going to make before they even make them, man. Okay, that's what he meant by, declaring the end from the beginning. So all the lifetimes, all the lives people have lived throughout the course of time, right, has all been within the Lord's thought process, man. Okay, like I said, which is heavy, man, because it's so-called, let's say, it's billions of people, or just say millions of people, on the planet Earth, billions of people, man. The Lord knew everybody's life, exactly how it would play out, to the T. He knew your date of birth. He knew your date, the date of, your death, so to speak, right? He knows the number. The scriptures talk about him knowing the number of the hairs written on people's heads, man. Like I said, the Lord is, he's playing chess, man. Okay. Obviously he's making moves, prophetically, right? He's making moves within your life. Okay. He's making, and those moves are what? Are done for what? You're either destined, so to speak, to be, saved, or you're destined to, be destroyed on this side, man. Now we pray through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai that we make it out, a Babylon the Great. We want it out of this, we want out of this, captivity, man. None of us wants to work, you know what I'm saying? In a manner in which we do. A lot of us are working, like I said, 12 hours, 16s, it's ridiculous, man. You're not living. You don't have time to even think, process thoughts for yourself. But the Lord, like I said, he's making these moves, man, within the earth, okay? All right, let's go get a another precept. All right. All right, this is Proverbs 19 and verse 21. It says, there are many devices, okay, in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord shall stand. That shall stand. Okay. So, right, the Lord, has it to where, hey, look, man has their own thoughts, right? They have their own way of processing, doing things, their own way they perceive things, and the way in which they're going to move, right? They have people that, really just plans out their whole day. Some people they try to plan out the whole year, man. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures tell you that, basically what is your life is as a vapor. You know what I'm saying? And if you're going to talk about anything that has to deal with tomorrow, it definitely has to say what? Basically, Lord willing, man. Adawan Ratazah, man. Okay? But that's what we say, because we don't know what the Lord got planned for us, for the next day. We pray, that we leave home, right? And that we make it what? Back home, man. On a safe journey. Because every time we exit our house, what happens, man? The Lord's making moves. He's a chess player, man. Okay, he's, you got people, you got this, you got the stick up boys. They're gonna do what they gonna do. You got Esau, you gotta watch out for him. He's like a lion, like a roaring lion, right? He's lurking in the villages, right? You got issues, going on at the job. You got the regular group of guys that's walking down the street, but then you gotta cut across the street because, Jake, is not in the right mindset, right? He's got an evil eye toward his brother, right? But like I said, all those things that's going on within the planet, man, the Lord is still orchestrating it. He's still at the helm of it, okay? He's still the one that's basically paving the way, for the people, man, okay? I'm gonna read this again. It says, there are many devices, right, which goes into plotting, planning, okay? And it says, in a man's heart, right, within the mind of the man, okay? Like I said earlier, what is he gonna do? What I'm gonna do for the day? I'm gonna wake up, I gotta go to the store, I gotta get gas, I gotta go work 8 hours / 12 hours, whatever the case may be. Then I gotta go back home, wash this, you know what I'm saying? But you really don't know. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you truly don't know what the Lord's gonna have happen that day, Because like I said, the prophecies are telling us to what? Look out for the coming of Yahweh Shemel Shah. Look out for all hell breaking loose. It can happen at any time. The Lord can make the move at any time, man. Okay? And it says, nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord shall stand. All the things the Lord's going to say happen is going to happen, man. Everything the prophets say is going to happen is going to happen, man. Starting with the elders and apostles at Great Millstone on down, okay? And it says, that shall stand, all right? But let's go ahead and get another precept, okay? Let's get this. Matter of fact, we'll get this here. All right, this is Wisdom of Solomon 3 and verse 1. It says, but the souls of the righteous are in the hand of God, and there shall no torment touch them. All right. Verse 2, it says, in the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, right? It seems to be, be punished. Because what happens, what do you have in chess, right? You sometimes you move a piece in order to sacrifice a piece, right? To basically win the game. Okay, or you might trade a piece for position of power, right? Because I know one of the strong points of chess is to try to control the center of the board as best as you possibly can. When you lose control over the center, everything else seems to fall apart over the course of time, right? And the Lord does, he may do that even with his, with his own men, right? He may sacrifice his, his own men, but ultimately it's for what? It's for a purpose, for a reason, it's for greater good, right? It was that man's time or his lot, Okay, like I said, we're thinking of playing you know, checkers, and the Lord's playing chess, right? He's seeing all the moves all at once, and they all have reason behind them. Okay, it says, and their departure is taken for misery, right? See, so it seems like being a righteous man is being miserable. You know what I'm saying? Leaving out of here, you know, say, dang, like that dude, you know, he lived a hard life, even though he loved the Lord. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, look at all the stuff that happened to him. Okay. And it says, verse 3, and it says, and they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. All right. Verse 4, it says, for though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality, right? So, you know, what the righteous go through being chastised, right? You know, being a mockery, man, being made fun of, being ridiculed. Okay, you know, having to deal with scorners, basically being vexed every single day, you know, from the Lord, man. You know, basically the righteous are bearing, you know, the indignation of Yahweh Shema Shai. You know, but it says, but what? It says, but yet is there hope full of immortality, right? But we're hoping, you know, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai to be a part of that number, man. That's what, you know, we're hoping for. We're hoping to, you know, have work for the Lord and to receive the penny, okay? Receive, you know, the kingdom of heaven, okay? The reward that comes with doing this work, okay? All right, this is verse 5. It says, and having been a little chastised, it says they will be greatly rewarded, for God proved them and found them worthy for himself, man. Okay, so, you know, hey, look, these men, you know, like I said, going through the trials, they're going through the tribulations, the woes, the calamities. They're being vexed in the spirit every day with the things that they're seeing. You know, they want, you know, people, you know, to be righteous. You know, righteousness is not in the earth right now. You know, wickedness is ruling the earth. Okay, that's the way the Lord has everything playing. He has this, you know, how he has everything playing out. Okay, right? You know, he's that master chess player. You know, he's about to checkmate, you know, everybody who's not following his word, man. Okay, he's about to, you know, put an end to corruption. He's about to put an end to wickedness. Okay, he's right now he's getting ready to make what his final moves, man. You know, the person is almost out of life, right? He's almost on a mode of you know, finish him, right? Which goes back into pretty much like a little game called, you know, Mortal Kombat. When a character runs out of life, so to speak, there's a mode where it goes into that where it says finish him, and that person just, you know, messes them up, you know, completely. Okay. All right, let's get another preset real quick. Close out. All right, this is 2nd Esdras 4 and verse 37. It says, by measure have he measured the times, and by number have he numbered the times, and he do not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled, man. You know what I'm saying? So basically, the Lord's got plans. He's got moves he's going to make, and he's going to do it when? On his time. You know, that's when he's going to do it. You know, he has a, you know, a day. The scriptures tell you he has a day, an hour, a month, a year, everything planned out. Everything planned out, you know, down to the T, man, on what he's going to do, why he's going to do it, how he's going to do it. Okay. You know, we're just basically, you know, people within the Lord's story, but basically characters within his movie, man. And like I say, the Lord is putting in work and he's making moves, man. All right. But, you know, that's pretty much, you know, all I have, you know, through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shema Shai, you know, Lord willing, you know, this was edifying to the elect, you know, and hey, look, the Lord, he's the master chess player, man. And, you know, he's making moves, okay? The prophecies are coming to pass, you know. We have a few left, you know, through the spirit of power, Yahweh Shema Shai. You know, we have, you know, Jacob's trouble is definitely a big one. That's, you know, basically right on, we're basically in the preludes, the preliminaries of it. You know what I'm saying? It's already begun. It just hasn't, it hasn't reached its climax yet. You know, we have the implementation of the MOTB, right? You know, and just all, you know, all hell breaking loose, you know. World War III is also on the horizon, man. So like I said, the Lord is making moves, man. He's doing it within his time. He's doing it within his power, man, within his will. Okay. You know, but our job is to play the part, you know, through the best we can, through the spirit of power, Yahweh Shema Shai, you know, and warn the people, man, the sheep and the flock, and give the other nations what, man? They're basically you know, their so-called destiny, to speak, their judgment. Okay. But like I said, that's pretty much all I have through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shema Shai. Lord willing, this was edifying first and foremost to the hopeful elect. But prior to getting out of here, we want to give all infinite honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Hakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. All right. Kwam Yasha Allah, Ababa Ball, and Shalom.